على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين وهو خير ناصر ومعين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. صلى Respected elders, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullah. In yesterday's session, we had discussed that Musa alayhi salam had now reached a stage of bulugh, of puberty, and a state in which now we would call, in Urdu we call Jawan, and he became a youth. And we mentioned that after that, Musa alayhi salam reaches a city that was under the authority of Fir'aun, and he reached the city in a time when it was in a state of ghafla, bayn al-maghribi wal-isha. And we also saw that there were two people who are yaqtatilan, they were fighting each other to kill one another. And one of them was min shi'atihi, was the Shia follower of Musa, and the other one was a Coptic. And Musa alayhi salam then tried to intervene and save his follower, and accidentally this person was killed. The next morning, Musa alayhi salam sees that the same person from Bani Israel, his follower, is now involved in another fight with somebody else. And Musa alayhi salam realizes and tells him that maybe you are part of the problem, maybe you have an issue, because it seems like you are antagonistic, you are provoking a fight. And so فَلَمَّا أَنْ أَرَادَ أَنْ يَبْطِشَ بِالَّذِي هُوَ عَدُوٌ لَهُمَا, when Musa alayhi salam was about to intervene again in this fight, قال, the enemy said, يا موسى أتريد أن تقتلني كما قتلت نفسا بالأمس? Do you want to kill me also now like you killed that person yesterday? So Musa alayhi salam realizes now it's no longer a secret. Now people have known about it. إن تريد إلا أن تكون جبارا في الأرض وما تريد أن تكون من المصلحين. He says, it seems like you want to be an oppressor, a tyrant, a jabbar, because you killed that one yesterday and today now you want to kill me also. وما تريد أن تكون من المصلحين. It doesn't look like you want to bring islah and peace between us, you just want to kill. That's what he tells Musa. Now, interestingly here, Allah says in the Quran, the next verse, He says, وَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ مِّنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ يَسْعَى. A man came from the furthest point in the city, he came running, and he says, قَالَ يَا مُوسَى إِنَّ الْمَلَأَ يَأْتَمِرُونَ بِكَ لِيَقْتُلُوكَ. He says that the chiefs are conspiring to kill you. فَخْرُجْ إِنِّي لَكَ مِنَ النَّاصِحِينَ. Go, I'm here to advise you. Now the interesting part I'll tell you is here. Surah Yasin, there's a similar verse. Here Allah says, وَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ, it's a bit technical, but وَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ مِّنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ يَسْعَى. جَاءَ, what comes first? رَجُلٌ. In Surah Yasin there's a verse, وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ. وَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ. When you look at the translation is the same, but there's a difference in Arabic. جَاءَ رَجُلٌ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ. So for example, if I say કોઈ નૈરોબીથી આવ્યો છે અહીંયા, if I say કોઈ નૈરોબીથી આવ્યો છે, એનો મતલબ નથી કે એ કેન્યન સિટીઝન છે. ઓકે, કદાચ એ નૈરોબીમાં કંઈ કામ કરતો હશે, he is doing some work, કાં તો નૈરોબી ટ્રાન્ઝિટ હતું અને પછી મોમ્બાસા આવ્યું. But if I say a Kenyan had come, now you know this is a Kenyan citizen. He lives in the country of Kenya. So here there's a difference now. In Surah Yasin, this verse is talking about a pious person that the Mufassirin have unanimously said his name is Habib al-Najjar. Pious person who came and said, وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ يَسْعَى قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ اتَّبِعُوا الْمُرْسَلِينَ. Oh people, follow the messenger. But now here in Surah Yasin, this Habib al-Najjar, Allah, when he says, وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ, he came from this place. It does not mean he was necessarily living there. But in Musa's case, وَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ means he was living there, he was staying there, and he came. This man was this Mu'min al-Fir'aun. This man who had come, he had come from the palace, from the qasr of Fir'aun, to come and warn Musa. That, oh Musa, everybody knows now what happened. And the news has spread. At that time there was no technology, no WhatsApp. Right now news in 3 seconds. But even that time it spread very quickly. And this man was living in the palace of Fir'aun, but at heart he was a believer. He believed in unity, in oneness of God. He also he did not believe in violence and bloodshed that Fir'aun was doing. So he says, I'm here as a nasih, as an advisor to you, run away. Another interesting part here is, Allah uses the word ja'a. Ja'a rajulun min aqsal madina, ja'a min aqsal madina. This word ja'a, in Arabic, there is two words which means to come. One is ja'a, the other is ata. When I say ata, idha ata, meaning this person has come but has not come with difficulty. There is no difficulties for him. But the word ja'a connotes difficulty. So when he says ja'a, why did he come with difficulty? Because he had to sneak out of Fir'aun's palace. He had to look over his shoulder. Is Fir'aun looking or no? Are his wazirs looking at me or no? Do they know where I'm going? So he goes discreetly, secretly, and it takes trouble for him. It's troublesome. It's difficult. Because he wants to give a message to Musa to escape. إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ. When the nasr of Allah comes, when the help of Allah comes, Allah does not say إِذَا أَتَى نَصْرُ اللَّهِ إِذَا جَاءَ, because the help of Allah will come, but it will come with difficulty. Yani we'll have to struggle for it. There'll be turmoil. We will have to use many methodologies that are tiresome to many. Which means Muslims have to struggle before the victory of Allah will come. Or for example, in the Quran, in Mafahim, in Hawza, we did man ja'a bil hasana. Whoever comes with good, not man amila, not whoever does good. Allah says man ja'a, whoever comes on the day of judgment. Now whoever reaches the day of judgment having done good, sometimes doing good is not easy. It comes with difficulties. We have to have sabr, patience with people, etc., etc. But also Allah does not say whoever does good. He says man ja'a, because you could do good, but your bad overpowers your good. And sometimes then our sayyat overpower the hasanat. So in a moment Musa realizes, I am now a fugitive. I now have to run from the law, from the government of Fir'aun. فَخَرَجَ مِنْهَا خَائِفًا يَتَرَقَّبُ. So Musa alayhi salam left the city in a state of fear, caution, looking around. قَالَ رَبِّ نَجِّنِي مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. He says, oh Allah, save me from these wrongdoing people. Now another interesting point here is Musa does not say قَالَ يَا رَبِّ. Ya in Arabic is harf nida, to call out. Ya Rabb. He says قَالَ رَبِّ. Why? The Mufassirin mention when you put ya, it's like you're doing dua, you are calling out. But when somebody is closer to you, you just use his name. So Musa alayhi salam does not say Ya Rabb, he says Rabbi, oh my Lord. He is speaking to Allah from the heart, one-on-one. So, وَلَمَّا تَوَجَّهَ تِلْقَاءَ مَدْيَنَ. Musa alayhi salam now heads towards Madian. قَالَ عَسَى رَبِّي أَن يَهْدِيَنِي سَوَاءَ السَّبِيلِ. I trust my Lord will guide me to the right way. Now, Madian is southwest Arabia. around the area of Tabuk. Does Musa just go to Madian just like that without any plan? Why did he not go right east? Why did he not go north? Why southwest Arabia? Now Musa alayhi salam, because he grew up in the palace of Fir'aun, he knows the borders of Fir'aun's empire and kingdom. He knows which areas, where are the guards of Fir'aun, the askaris of Fir'aun are where, etc. The closest place that was outside the jurisdiction of Fir'aun was Madian, which is why Musa alayhi salam heads there. From where he was to Madian is 850 miles distance. Remember, Musa alayhi salam, no clothes, no money, nothing. And on top of that, he's in a state of fear. Amirul Mu'mineen Imam Ali salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, in sermon number 160 of Nahjul Balagha, he mentions Prophet Musa. He mentions the struggles of Musa. He says, وَإِن شِئْتَ ثَنَّيْتُ بِمُوسَى. If you want, I'll tell you about Musa. كليم الله حيث يقول رب إني أنزلت إلي من خير فقير. We'll come to know later about the dua of Musa. But Imam says that when he left to go to Madian, there are some scholars who have looked at the map, and they have said that it took Musa 45 days to reach Madian, walking. He has no horse or animal to take him there. So he says when he reaches Madian, he does dua to Allah, oh Allah, whatever good you can send down upon me, I am faqir. Imam says, Wallahi ma sa'alahu illa khubzan ya'kulu. Musa was only asking Allah for a loaf of bread. لِأَنَّهُ كَانَ يَأْكُلُ بَقْلَةَ الْأَرْضِ. Musa, in those 45 days of safari, he was used to eat the vegetation on the earth. For 45 days, only plants, barely surviving. Imam Ali continues, and he says his skin became so thin and starved, you could see the green color emitting from his skin as well. So in this condition, he arrives Madian. No food, no water, no clothing, no shelter. وَلَمَّا وَرَدَ مَاءَ مَدْيَنَ. When he reaches now at the well of Madian, وَجَدَ عَلَيْهِ أُمَّةً مِنَ النَّاسِ يَسْقُونَ. He found that there's a group of people watering their sheep, their animals. وَوَجَدَ مِن دُونِهِمُ امْرَأَتَيْنِ تَذُودَانِ. But he noticed two women who are not watering their animals. They are keeping aloof. قَالَ مَا خَطْبُكُمَا. He asks them, what is wrong with you? What's the problem? They said, قَالَتَ لَا نَسْقِي حَتَّى يُصْدِرَ الرِّعَاء. We are waiting for the men now to move. So these two women were women, as we know, they are daughters of Nabi Shu'aib, and they are women of modesty and chastity. وَأَبُونَا شَيْخٌ كَبِيرٌ. Our father is an old man. Now, Mufassirin have mentioned here. Musa did not ask them, where is your father? Do you not have a man? He didn't ask them. They says, we are waiting for people to move. Khalas, finish. It would have been enough. It would have sufficed. But the Mufassirin say they continue to say, Wa abuna shaykhun kabir, because they are expecting another question that Musa might ask them, but why are you? So in order to avoid unnecessary conversation with somebody who is now mahram, they just continue to say, Wa abuna shaykhun kabir. We are waiting because our father is an old person, so that there is no further unnecessary conversation. In verse 43, he sees the shepherds around the well, he sees men pushing, and then he helps these two ladies. Now, another important thing to notice here, we'll come to that. فَسَقَى لَهُمَا. He watered their herd for them. ثُمَّ تَوَلَّى إِلَى الظِّلِّ. Then he withdrew and went towards a shade. He sat under a shade. فَقَالَ رَبِّ إِنِّي لِمَا أَنزَلْتَ إِلَيَّ مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَقِيرٌ. Whatever you sent to me, O Allah, I am in need. Now, Mufassirin, Allama Tabatabai, he mentions that whenever we do something only and only for the sake of Allah, Allah opens us many doors for us. He says, this is the same Musa who had nothing, but because of this one act of his, helping these two women without any need for wanting anything back in return, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the future now changes the whole life of Musa. Gives him marriage, gives him shelter, gives him security, gives him financial stability. So as he's seated there, he does this dua. Few moments later, فَجَاءَتْهُ إِحْدَاهُمَا تَمْشِي عَلَى اسْتِحْيَاءٍ. One of these women comes back. Now interestingly, Allah says, تَمْشِي عَلَى اسْتِحْيَاءٍ. She is walking with chastity, with haya. Allah does not say tamshi bistihya. Bistihya means she was walking with modesty. Alastihya means she was walking with a lot of modesty. Yani she had control over her modesty. Allah does not say for the Prophet, وَإِنَّكَ لَذُو خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. Rasulullah, his akhlaq, he has control over his akhlaq. He has power over his akhlaq. And so she tells Musa, قالت إن أبي يدعوك ليجزيك أجر ما سقيت لنا. Our father is calling you so that he can give you some reward, some jaza for what you have done for us. Again, فلما جاءه وقص عليه القصص قال لا تخف نجوت من القوم الظالمين. They reach the house of Shu'aib, and Shu'aib in the next verse he says, قال إني أريد أن أنكحك إحدى ابنتي هاتين على أن تأجرني ثمانية حجج. He says, I want to marry you to one of my daughters, provided that you work for me or be in service for me for 8 years. If you complete 10, it's better. It will be a favor from you. But I don't want to make it difficult for you, etc. Now, the last point here before we end. The daughter of Shu'aib, when she goes back to her father and she narrates the story, Shu'aib asks them, what happened? Why have you come back so early? So the daughters of Shu'aib, they narrate the story and they say, he is strong and he is Amin. This man who helped us, he's strong and he's Amin. So Shu'aib says, okay, strong, I understand. He helped you. It's not easy to take water from a well. How do you know he's Amin? So she says, because when I came back to tell him that my father is looking for you, he said, I will walk in front of you, not behind you. And this haya of Musa alayhi salam was such, he's saying, you guide me, but I will walk in front of you. And which is why Shu'aib, when he heard this, he said, now I want to take you as my son-in-law. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll continue with the story where Musa alayhi salam had already worked for Shu'aib and what went on after that. Assalamu ala al-Husayn wa ala Ali ibn al-Husayn wa ala awlad al-Husayn wa ala ashab al-Husayn. करबला के वाक़े के बाद एक सहाबी इमाम सज्जाद अलैहिस्सलाम के पास आता है और कहता है, मौला अगर आपकी इजाज़त हो मैं आपसे एक सवाल कर सकता हूँ? तो मौला ने कहा, मौलाना इजाज़त दी। फिर उस शख्स ने कहा, मौला मैं देख रहा हूँ कि जब भी आपके सामने कासा आब रख दिया जाता है, जब भी आपके सामने पानी पेश किया जाता है, मौला आप इतना गिरिया करते हैं, आपकी आंखों से इतना आंसू बहता है कि आपके आंसू उस पानी के साथ मखलूत हो जाता है। फिर मौला उस पानी को हटा दिया जाता है, दूसरी मर्तबा पानी आपके सामने पेश किया जाता है, मौला आप फिर से वैसे ही गिरिया करते हैं, फिर से पानी हटा दिया जाता है। मौला मैं जानता हूँ कि आपके बाबा करबला के मैदान में शहीद हुए हैं, लेकिन मौला करबला के वाक़े को तो बरसों गुजर गए, कई साल गुजर गए, आप इसी तरह से गिरिया करते हैं, इतने शदीद गिरिया करते हैं कि जिस तरह से आपके बाबा परसों ही कत्ल किए गए हो। तो सैयद सज्जाद ने एक मर्तबा कहा कि तूने इंसाफ नहीं किया। शख्स ने पूछा, मौला कैसे इंसाफ नहीं किया? कहा, देखो इन्ना याकूब कान नबी वब्नु नबी, याकूब नबी खुदा थे, नबी के बेटे थे। लहू इस्नता अशरा इब्नन, याकूब के पास 12 बेटे थे। फ़ग़य्यब अल्लाहु वाहिदम मिनहुम, खुदा ने याकूब की नज़रों से फ़कत यूसुफ को गायब किया था। और याकूब की हालत देखो, सरों के बाल सफ़ेद हो गए। वहदौदब ज़हरुहु मिनल गम, कमर झुकी हुई थी गम की वजह से। وَذَهَبَ بَصَرُهُ مِنَ الْبُكَاءِ، یعقوب نابینا ہو گئے تھے، آنکھوں کی روشنی چلی گئی تھی. یہ سب یعقوب کے حال تھا، مگر یعقوب کے سامنے فقط یوسف غائب ہوا تھا. امام نے ایک مرتبہ فرمایا کہ تو انصاف سے بتا، یعقوب نے اپنے یوسف کے لاشے کو پامال ہوتے ہوئے نہیں دیکھا، یعقوب نے اپنے بیٹے کو ذبح ہوتے ہوئے نہیں دیکھا، یعقوب نے اپنے بیٹے کے سر کو نوکے نیزہ پہ چڑھتے ہوئے نہیں دیکھا. وَأَنَا رَأَيْتُ أَبِي وَأَخِي وَسَبْعَةَ عَشَرًا مِّنْ أَهْلِ بَيْتِي سَرْعًا مَقْتُولِينَ، میں نے انہی آنکھوں سے دیکھا جس طرح سے میرے بابا کا لاشا پامال ہوا تھا، انہی آنکھوں سے دیکھا کہ کس طرح سے ایک شہر سے لے کے دوسرے شہر تک میرے بابا کے سر کو نوکے نیزہ پہ چڑھایا گیا تھا. الا لعنۃ اللہ علی القوم الظالمین وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
اللهم صل